Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today we're going to be kind of like cracking open a time capsule from the early days of, e-commerce.
Mhm.
It's Jeff Bezos's 2005 letter to Amazon shareholders.
Oh, yeah.
Now, for anyone who maybe hasn't seen this,
Mhm.
it's not just like some boring financial report. It's like getting a glimpse inside the mind of the guy who, well, pretty much built one of the biggest companies, on the planet.
Yeah, I mean, what I think is so cool about this letter is how Bezos, lays out his whole philosophy, his big vision for Amazon
Right.
at a time when a lot of people were still kind of skeptical about online shopping. I mean, this is like a blueprint of how he built an empire.
I know, right? It's 2005. Like the dot-com bubble has just burst. And everyone's all about, quick profits, like show me the money now. But Bezos is over here like playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers.
Oh, yeah.
He's thinking long term. He's talking about ideas that honestly at the time seemed kind of crazy. But, they turned out to be genius.
Absolutely. And one of the first things he does is he breaks down decision making into two buckets. You got your math-based decisions and then your judgment-based decisions.
Okay, so let's unpack that a little bit. Math-based, that's pretty straightforward, right?
Yeah.
Like optimizing those massive fulfillment centers or figuring out how much inventory to have on hand.
Yeah.
It's all about the numbers.
Exactly. It's using data to drive efficiency, like
Yeah.
squeezing every ounce of value out of your operation.
Right.
And Bezos, he even gives the example of optimizing inventory,
Hmm.
making sure they have enough stuff for customers, without it costing a fortune to store.
Right, right. But then he goes on to talk about these judgment-based decisions,
Yeah.
and that's where things get, really interesting because he's basically saying that sometimes data alone isn't enough.
Right. It's about having the vision, the intuition to see the bigger picture, even when the numbers might not tell the whole story. It's kind of like when you're choosing like a house to buy, you can look at all the numbers like price, square footage, location,
Right.
but ultimately there's this gut feeling about whether it feels right.
Okay, so it's not just about crunching numbers. It's about trusting your gut too.
Well, it's not just blind faith, though. Bezos talks about using data and analysis to inform those judgment calls.
Okay.
He even references this paper called The Structure of Unstructured Decision Processes,
Hmm.
which basically argues that if you focus too much on easily measurable things, you might actually miss the bigger picture.
So you need a healthy mix of both,
Hmm.
hard data and that gut feeling,
Hmm.
that intuition to guide you.
Right.
And Bezos gives some pretty juicy examples of what these judgment calls look like in action.
Oh, yeah. And
Mm.
some of these were pretty controversial at the time, like continuously lowering prices. I
Right.
mean, you might think, why would you lower prices when you could be making more profit? But that's short-term thinking.
Yeah.
Bezos understood that by lowering prices, he could create this like flywheel effect.
A flywheel effect.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Break that down for me.
All right. So imagine a giant flywheel, one of those, heavy wheels. It takes a lot of effort to get moving.
Right.
Lowering prices, that's like that initial push. It attracts more customers, which creates more sales, which in turn means Amazon can negotiate better deals with suppliers.
Okay.
Better deals with suppliers lead to even lower prices, which attracts even more customers.
Yeah.
It's like a snowball rolling downhill, just gaining momentum as it goes.
Whoa. So lower prices actually lead to more profit in the long run. It's kind of counterintuitive. Most businesses, they try to, find the sweet spot to maximize profit on each item.
Exactly.
Right.
And this virtuous cycle, as Bezos calls it, is like a core part of his long-term vision.
Okay.
It's about delaying gratification, investing in the future, even if it means sacrificing some profit today. And this isn't just some theory, by the way. It's literally how Amazon became the behemoth it is today.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
Okay, but lowering price is just one piece of the puzzle, right?
Yeah.
He also mentions things like free Super Saver shipping and Amazon Prime. Wasn't that a bit of a gamble back in 2005?
Oh, absolutely. Offering free shipping and building out this whole Prime ecosystem was a huge investment. Back
Yeah.
then, who would have thought people would pay a yearly fee just for faster shipping? But Bezos, he saw the potential to completely change consumer behavior.
It's like he's playing 4D chess while everyone else is still stuck on checkers.
Right.
Yeah.
And these bold moves, these judgment calls, they're
Mm.
all rooted in his obsession with the customer.
Yeah, he keeps hammering that point home.
Yeah.
Start with the customer and work backwards. It's not just lip service. It's like baked into everything Amazon does.
Exactly. And you see it in those like seemingly crazy decisions.
Yeah.
Free shipping, Prime
Yep.
Even inviting third-party sellers onto their own platform, these were all calculated risks
Right.
designed to make the customer's life better.
Wait, hold on. Third-party sellers? That's allowing, like, competition onto your own turf.
Yeah.
Even back then, wasn't that seen as kind of a controversial move?
Hugely controversial. Even some people within Amazon worried it would cannibalize their own sales.
Right.
But Bezos, he understood that more sellers meant more selection, better prices, and ultimately happier customers.
So it's like he's saying, look, I'm not afraid to shake things up, even if it means challenging the status quo,
Right.
as long as it benefits the customer.
Exactly. And that takes guts, especially when you're going against the grain.
Yeah.
But it's this willingness to experiment, to take risks,
Right.
that really sets Amazon apart.
Okay, so we've got long-term thinking, customer obsession, and bold decision-making. It's like
Yeah.
a recipe for success, right? But how does this translate to the average person? I mean, we're not all running billion-dollar empires.
That's a great question. And it's something we'll explore in more detail when we come back.
All right, so we're kind of starting to see, like, the pieces of Bezos's philosophy coming together.
Right.
Long-term thinking, customer obsession, bold decision-making. But it's easy to, look back now and say, well, of course it worked.
Right.
Back in 2005, e-commerce was still kind of finding its seat.
Yeah.
Amazon was far from the giant it is today.
Exactly. And remember, this is right after the dot-com bubble burst. Investors, they were pretty skittish. They wanted to see, like, quick returns, not these long-term bets that might take years to pay off.
So Bezos is basically telling Wall Street, trust me, I've got a plan.
Yeah.
Even though a lot of those plans probably sounded pretty wild at the time.
He's saying, hey, we might not make a ton of money today, but we're building something special here, something that's going to change the world. And it takes a certain level of, I think, conviction, of leadership to stick to your guns when everyone else is doubting you.
And it's not just about being stubborn, right? He talks about using data and analysis to make these big decisions. It's not just blind faith. It's calculated risk-taking.
Right. He even talks about this idea that focusing too much on, easily measurable things can actually lead you astray. And he references this paper, it's from 1976, The Structure of Unstructured Decision Processes.
Okay.
They argue that the best decisions often involve a blend of data, intuition, and a willingness to, embrace uncertainty.
So it's like he's saying, don't just follow the numbers blindly. Use your gut, use your vision to interpret those numbers and see the opportunities that maybe others might miss.
Absolutely. And that brings us back to those bold decisions, the ones that really set Amazon apart.
Yeah.
Like lowering prices. We talked about the virtuous cycle.
Right.
But it's worth digging a little deeper into how radical that idea was.
Yeah, most companies, they're all about maximizing profit on each individual sale.
Yeah.
But Bezos is over here playing the long game, intentionally lowering prices to attract more customers.
It's like he's flipping the script on traditional retail,
Yeah.
He's betting that by making things more affordable, he can attract a larger customer base,
Right.
lead into more sales, which in turn allows for, greater efficiency and economies of scale.
Okay, but how does that actually work? I mean, wouldn't lowering prices eat into your profits?
It might seem that way in the short term, but think about it. More customers means more orders, which means Amazon can negotiate better deals with suppliers. Better deals means lower costs for Amazon, which allows them to lower prices even further, which attracts even more customers.
Right.
It's that snowball effect we talked about.
It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. You create this cycle where lower prices lead to more growth, which fuels even lower prices.
Exactly. And it's not just about price. Remember Amazon Prime?
Yeah.
Back in 2005, that was a radical idea.
Yeah.
Pay a yearly fee for free 2-day shipping. Who would do that?
Especially when you're used to getting everything for free online. It was definitely a gamble.
Yeah.
But Bezos saw the potential, right,
Yeah.
to change how people shop.
Right. He understood the power of convenience. People are busy, they want things fast, and they're willing to pay a premium for that convenience.
Right.
And, he was right. Look at Prime today. It's this massive ecosystem with free shipping, streaming services, exclusive deals. It's completely changed how we shop and consume content.
It's like he created his own gravitational pull,
Yeah.
pulling customers into this Amazon universe.
Yeah.
And it all goes back to that customer obsession, right?
Yeah.
Understanding what people want and then figuring out how to give it to them,
Yeah.
even if it means breaking the mold.
Absolutely. And this focus on the customer, on building trust and loyalty, also gave Amazon the freedom to experiment, to try new things, even if they didn't always pan out.
So it's like they've earned the right to make mistakes
Yeah.
because customers trust that they're always trying to do what's best for them,
Yeah.
which is, I mean, a pretty powerful position to be in.
Absolutely. And it's all laid out in this 2005 letter. Bezos is so clear about his vision, his philosophy. He's not sugarcoating the challenges. He's telling it like it is. This is our approach. This is what we believe in. And we're in it for the long haul.
And that honesty, that transparency probably helped build trust with investors too, right?
Yeah.
He's saying, look, there might be bumps along the way, but we're confident in the destination.
It's like he's inviting them on the journey,
Yeah.
saying, come along for the ride. It's going to be wild, but it'll be worth it. And you know what? He was right.
Yeah.
Amazon is a testament to the power of long-term thinking, of taking calculated risks, and most importantly, of putting the customer first.
Okay. But let's be real. We're not all Jeff Bezos. Most of us aren't trying to go the next Amazon. So what can the average person take away from all of this? How can we apply these principles to our own lives?
That's the million-dollar question, and it's one we'll tackle head-on when we come back, because even if you're not building a billion-dollar empire, these principles can still help you create your own version of success.
Okay, so we've spent the last two segments just kind of, geeking out on Bezos's 2005 letter,
Right.
breaking down his philosophy, how he built Amazon. But I think the big question on, probably everyone's mind is,
Yeah.
how do we actually apply these principles to our own lives?
Yeah.
I mean, like, I'm not exactly launching rockets or building a global empire, anytime soon.
Right. Not all of us are destined to be the next Bezos, but that doesn't mean we can't, learn from his playbook. Take long-term thinking, for example. It's so easy to get caught up in the day-to-day grind
Oh, yeah.
to choose instant gratification over those long-term goals.
Tell me about it. Like hitting snooze instead of going for that morning run.
Yeah.
Binge watching that new show when I have a deadline like looming over my head.
Exactly. And that's where I think Bezos' approach can be so powerful. He reminds us that the most rewarding choices, they often require a bit of sacrifice up front.
Yeah.
It's about delaying gratification, investing in yourself and your future, even when it's not the, easy option.
Yeah. Okay, so how do we actually shift our mindset to be more long-term focused? I'm all for setting goals, but sometimes it feels like, life just gets in the way.
It starts with getting really clear on your values, on what you truly want to achieve. Once you have that vision,
Right.
then you can start making decisions that align with it, even if they mean saying no to, some tempting distractions along the way.
So instead of saying, oh, I'll start that project tomorrow, I forced myself to at least sketch out a plan today. Or instead of impulse buying that gadget I don't really need, I put that money towards a bigger goal, like a down payment on a house. Or investing in my education.
Now you're getting it.
Okay.
It's about making conscious choices that support your long-term vision, even if they, require a little discipline in the moment. And this applies to all areas of life, not just, finances.
Okay, that makes sense. But what about this whole customer obsession thing? I'm not running a business, so who are my customers?
Well, think about it more broadly. Who are the people you interact with, regularly?
Yeah.
Your boss, your colleagues, your clients, your friends and family.
Right.
In a sense, these are all your customers.
So it's about understanding their needs, anticipating what they expect from me, and then, finding ways to exceed those expectations. Basically, being a good friend, colleague, partner, all that good stuff.
Exactly. It's about being empathetic, responsive, and, always striving to deliver value, whether that's through a thoughtful gesture, a helping hand, or simply being a, reliable and supportive presence in their lives.
So remembering birthdays, offering to help someone move, being that friend who always shows up when you need them.
Precisely. Or in a work setting, being the colleague who goes the extra mile on a project, mentors a junior team member, or takes the initiative to solve a problem before even being asked. It's about adding value, not just going through the motions.
I'm starting to see how these seemingly business-focused principles can actually be applied to, all aspects of life. It's really a shift in mindset. It's about being intentional and focusing on creating value for those around you.
And let's not forget about that final piece of the puzzle. Bold decision-making.
Right.
Now, we're not talking about being reckless or impulsive here.
Yeah, I don't think Bezos is suggesting we all quit our jobs and start our own companies tomorrow.
Definitely not. But it's about being willing to step outside your comfort zone
No.
to challenge those limiting beliefs that might be holding you back. It's about taking calculated risks, even when they feel a bit scary.
So, like, finally signing up for that marathon I've been dreaming of, even if I'm terrified of not finishing,
Yeah.
or having that tough conversation I've been putting off, even if it might be, uncomfortable.
Exactly. It's about not letting fear dictate your choices,
Yeah.
about trusting your gut and taking that leap of faith, even if you don't have all the answers. And remember, Bezos emphasizes data and analysis.
Hmm.
So this isn't about like blind leaps of faith, right?
Yeah.
It's about gathering information, weighing your options, and then making a decision, even if it's not the, easiest or most popular one.
It's about finding that sweet spot
Yeah.
between, like, intuition and informed action,
Yeah.
taking that leap, but with a safety net of, like, knowledge and planning.
And that's where the magic happens, where real growth and fulfillment occur.
Listening to all of this, it almost feels like this 2005 letter is like a call to action, a challenge to, think bigger, to be bolder, to create our own versions of that, virtuous cycle in our own lives.
Absolutely. It's an invitation to step up, to make conscious choices that align with our values, to build those meaningful relationships, and to chase those dreams that might have been dormant for too long.
I'm definitely feeling inspired. This has been an awesome deep dive.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for joining me on this journey.
The pleasure was all mine. It's always fascinating to revisit these, pivotal moments in business history
Yeah.
and see how those lessons can be applied to our own lives.
And for our listeners, if you haven't already, I highly recommend checking out the full 2005 shareholder letter, along with that 1997 letter that Bezos references. They're both available online,
Yeah,
and they're packed with so much wisdom and insight.
couldn't agree more. And join us next time as we unpack more fascinating insights from unexpected sources.
Until then, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.